amazing Monday morning right here in the studios of IATV. My name is Folashade Ogrinde, welcoming you to the traffic report segment this morning on AM Cafe. This morning we're taking a review of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway as well as the Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway, and we have with us in the studio the Route Commander Florence Okpe of the FRSC Ogun State Command. She'll be telling us all the traffic reports we need to know along this route. I think she's on the line now. Good morning. How are you this morning?
I'm fine, thank you.
And how was your weekend?
Thank God.
All right, thank you very much. Now, please quickly take us through the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. What exactly is the traffic situation there?
The traffic situation on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway this morning, inward Lagos, from Togate, Ibadan to Onigari, the traffic is free. Onigari, Alapako, free flow. Alapako to Fidowo is also free. Fidowo interchange, free flow. Interchange Kara RCCG, the traffic is free. Mowo is also free. Asheshe Ibafo, the slow movement of vehicles due to the high volume of vehicles entering Lagos, and also the narrow lane at Ibafo where Josida are doing the construction work. Then MFM, Magboro, the traffic is free. Upik, down to Bida, free flow of vehicular movement. Then the other section of the expressway, that's vehicle going out of Lagos, Bida Upik is free. Magboro, MFM, free flow, Ibafo is also free. Mowe free flow, RCCG to interchange, the traffic is free. Interchange, Alapako is also free. Onigari down to Togate, Ibadan, free flow of vehicular movement. There's no crash and no obstruction.
All right, thank you very much. Now let's move on to the Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway. What exactly is going on there?
The Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway this morning, Lagos-Abeokuta areas where we are experiencing slow movement of vehicles. We have Owode to Iyanolobo, the slow movement of vehicles due to the bad portion of the road, which has been a problem for some time now. We have Iweko, Lafarge, Cement, Itori, also slow movement of vehicle. Then the other section, which is Abeokuta, Lagos, we have Iyanostele to Owode, the slow movement. Owode Sango is also slow movement due to the back portion of the road and the rain also. Then we have Alakoko to Kola, Ejaye, Abubegba, the slow movement, then Papa slow movement, but there is no crash and no obstruction. FRC advised motorists to avoid excessive speed, avoid road violation like driving against traffic, avoid the use of phone because driving needs a lot of concentration. Don't be distracted when driving. Avoid dangerous driving and wrongful overtaking. Call FRC toll-free number 122 to report any crash or obstruction. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Route Commander Florence Okpe, for giving us the traffic report situation along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway and the Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway. Thank you for coming on the show this morning.
You're welcome.
And I hope those listening and viewing this morning would take to caution those warnings by the FRSC official. Please do not make phone calls while driving in order to ensure your safety. Up next is Newspaper Review. Don't go anywhere. We'll join shortly. Good morning and welcome to the newspaper review segment this morning on AM Cafe, coming to you live from the studios of IATV. My name is Folashade Ogrinde. This morning we'll be taking a review of top stories making the front page of the national dailies. I'm not the only one in the studio today. I have with me my colleague Faith. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
How was the weekend?
Was very fine.
Restful, I hope?
Yes, restful.
All right. Well, let's begin with the stories making the headlines of the Guardian newspaper. Yoruba split over killing of Fashoranti's daughter. With the riders, Southwest won't take more headsmen attacks, don't only ones, and perpetrators may not be cattlemen, says Tinubu. Can PDP youths knock Buhari on insecurity? Ohaneze warns of looming national crisis. And Osinbajo hopeful. That story is on the front page of The Guardian and continued on page 6 of the same newspaper. There's a picture of the bereaved Fashion. Quite sad, I must say. But let's move on to other stories making the front page of The Guardian. Buhari's inability to solve herdsmen problems has ended his achievement, says Soyinka. That story is on page 8 of The Guardian. How artificial intelligence robotics will affect jobs of accountant others. That story is on page 50 and 51 of The Guardian newspaper. Choked with insecurity, citizens still waver on state police. That story is a special report and on page 54 and 55 of The Guardian newspaper. Appeal court orders release of Dasuki from detention, imposes 5 million naira fine on DSS for rights violation. That story is on the front page and continued on page 15 of the same newspaper. But that's all I have here on The Guardian newspaper. Yesterday, there were reports, I think over the weekend, there were several reports of Fashoranti's daughter who was killed by alleged herdsmen or kidnappers along the Ore Benin Road, and it's quite sad. We've had lots of opinion about the same issue. Some felt that they were herdsmen, some felt they were just kidnappers, and most people are split over their opinion on this issue. But I think one central thing is that we have an insecurity crisis.
Yes, that the federal government has to come right in time to check and make sure a total end is brought to the incessant killings of innocent Nigerians. Well, we move on to the Punch newspaper, and in that paper we'll have the banner headline saying Fashoranti's daughter, IGB Special Forces, Kom Ondo Forest, Afenifere, Ohaneze attack Buhari, and the writers to that story is please not investigating Olakunrin's death. Bakare whips says Nigeria's cup full. We have the stories on pages 2 and 20 of the Punch newspaper. Still on that paper, Buhari has failed, couldn't solve our problems, says Soyinka. That's on page 14 of the Punch newspaper. Many corrupt Nigerian leaders started with exam fraud. That's coming from JAMB, and it's on page 7 of the Punch newspaper. Sanwo-Olu nominates ex-SSG editor among 25 commissioners, aides, on page 6 of the Punch newspaper. Still on that paper, presidential panel sales of senators' property in Delta and Lagos. That's on page 46 of that paper. After God, it is Otedola. That's coming from Shuku, and it's on page 47 of the Punch newspaper. Well, Chuku has come to say, after God, it is Otedola. If you really are curious to know what Chuku is saying there, you can flip onto page 47 of the Punch newspaper. We have still on that paper, Algeria down, Super Eagles 2-1 in AFCON semi-finals, meet Senegal in final. That's on page 14 of the Punch newspaper. Well, Shadia, I must just talk about this. It really touched me yesterday when I saw that Nigeria scored an own goal, and I was like, what the hell is this?
All right, I know you are a sports fan, but most people felt pretty bad yesterday when Nigeria lost to Algeria. Yeah, with I think 2-1. Yes. And well, like I told someone yesterday, they did their best. They can't do more than that, and hopefully they would fight for third place with Tunisia.
Yes.
All right.
All right. We will still have other stories on the front page of the Punch. 5 nabbed for killing a man wrongfully accused of stealing phone. That's on page 4 and page 5 of the Punch newspaper. And bandits kill 10, injure 5 in fresh Katsina attack on page 46 of the Punch newspaper. Now we have a number of insecurity issue, people killing people, banditry attacks, Boko Haram, Shiite attacks, and all of that. We just pray the federal government will be able to find a lasting solution to all of this. Now we have a business story on that paper. Government, oil firms, manufacturers borrow 8.24 trillion naira from banks on page 29 of the Punch newspaper. Now that's all we have on the front page of the Punch. Let's see what's reported on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune.
All right, the Nigerian Tribune this morning is reporting with this story. Insecurity, federal government puts military, DSS, police on red alert with the riders, soldiers to patrol highways. IGP drafts team to the south. That story is on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune. Sanwo-Olu nominates Bello Omotosho, 23 others as commissioners and advisors. You can find the story on page 8. Family awaits Dansuki's release as appeal court awards him 5 million naira for unlawful detention. That story is on page 12 of the same newspaper. Soyinka is saying Nigeria's problems have overwhelmed Buhari, calls for national dialogue. That story is on page 39. And just above the masthead, the story here says Nigeria's refineries gulp $5.178 billion in 25 years, says investigation. Capacity utilization stalls at 20.66%. That story is on the front page and continued on page 14 of the Nigerian Tribune. Varsity workers begin nationwide protest today. That story is on page 12 of the Nigerian Tribune. Story here says, again, bandits kill 10 in Katsina. Suspected headsman kills 76-year-old farmer in Ogun State. That story is on page 2 and page 39 of the Nigerian Tribune. Sergeant who shot motorcyclist in Ibadan in police custody, says the CP. That story is on page 39 of the Nigerian Tribune. Just below the picture here, it says Fasoranti's daughter. Enough is enough, says Oni. Killings should not divide us, says Tinubu. Don't exonerate headsmen, Ohanaeze tells government. Abducted driver yet to be found, says Afenifere. And finally, we'll put end to security challenges soon, says the federal government. That story is on page 2 and page 30 of the Nigerian Tribune. We've got some more promises, just as dailies reports the high state of insecurity, either from Boko Haram or from insurgents or bandits or headsmen. So promises again. We hope finally something is done. And beyond that, we want to see beyond kidnappers or kidnapped people being rescued. We want to see these perpetrators captured by the Nigerian police. I think that will be evidence to the Nigerian people that something is being done.
It's actually being done.
All right, let's move on now to the Vanguard.
On the Vanguard, we have it that Olakunrin is killing. Soldiers may have to patrol highways. That's coming from Oshimbajo. And we have, says, economic gain responsible for spate of kidnapping. Nigeria descending into anarchy. Ohanaeze has said that, don't stigmatize headsmen. That's coming from Tinubu. As Fashoranti family, Ondo CP disagree on nature of killers. Fish out perpetrators of Olakunrin's killing, Senate tells IGP. That story is on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. I have another business story here. CBN's new lending policy puts 7 banks under pressure. I have another story. Fashoranti's daughter, herdsmen have declared war against Southwest. That's coming from Yoruba leaders, and it's on page 11 of the Vanguard newspaper. Well, a lot of Nigerians, especially the Southwesterners, are saying that the death of Fashoranti's daughter is actually a kind of war against the Yorubas, knowing that the Yorubas are kind of one of the persons, they said are kind of one of the persons waging war against the Ruga policy, the Ruga program, and all of that. Some persons are saying, no, it's not related to it. Some persons are even saying, are you sure it is actually the Fulani or herdsmen that
that would be Tinubu, especially with the interview he granted yesterday.
Yes, exactly. So there are a lot of sides to this, and we just hope we will see the end of the tunnel very soon. I have another story here. Tunji Bello, the nation's Motocho, 23 orders on Sanwo-Olu's cabinet list on page 10 of the Vanguard newspaper. Buhari can't handle our problems. That's coming from Soyinka, and it's on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. Still on that paper, Appeal Court counsels vacation for judges over post petitions. That's on page 4 of the Vanguard newspaper. AFC, FTA, TUC to engage FG on infrastructure. Others, that's on page 4 of the Vanguard newspaper. And we have pictures here of reception in honor of Emefiele, and we have another picture just there on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. We move from that to having more stories on the business world. That's coming from the inside page of the Guardian newspaper.
All right, the final lap for this race this morning is persistent free fall in share prices drags index further by 2.41%. That was reported by the Finance and Economy in the Guardian newspaper. And finally, on business story, experts seek enforcement of estimated 1 trillion naira housing insurance. And the story is on page 25 of the Guardian newspaper. That's all we can take today on the program. Many thanks for joining us this morning. Yeah, Faith?
Well, as much as we have so much to give to you, as much as we have different stories to review, we just have to run off to Ibadan for the next segment of the program. My name is Faith Agbetuya.
And I'm Folashade Ogrinde saying good morning. See you tomorrow.